Hi, I'm Jennifer Goddard. I'm the CEO of Integrity Marketing Solutions, and I want to welcome you to our podcast, Revenue on Command. This podcast is dedicated to helping lawyers, particularly in the fields of estate planning and elder law, to generate revenue on command, to have command and control over their revenue, know which levers to switch to turn that revenue on. Today, we're focused on the top 5 mistakes that lawyers make in scaling their practice. And today joining me is James Campbell, who is our Vice President of Client Success. Welcome to the podcast, James.
Hi, Jennifer. Thank you for having us. Good time.
The first thing I want to talk about today is when we talk about scaling a law firm to 7 figures or more, there's a lot of confusion about what it really means to scale. James, when you talk to lawyers, and you talk to lawyers every single day, what do you usually hear that people think it means to scale up?
Yeah, growth is the first thing that comes to their mind a lot of times, and growth in a lot of different areas. Sometimes it's adding a new office location, it's hiring new staff, maybe another associate attorney, or it could be adding a new practice area like elder law or Medicaid services to their repertoire of estate planning services in their law firm. A lot of times it's focused on growth in terms of revenue, just looking at that bottom line number of how much money is coming into the firm. It's almost like in the back of the mind, the thought of overhead, just hoping that somehow revenues outpace overhead. But even that is a lot of times a tougher pill. And Jennifer, we talk about scale, that's not what we're talking about at all, is it?
No, a lot of people think it's just getting big. But what scaling means is getting leverage. It's getting the gap between your expenses and your revenue, that margin of profit, to grow, and to do it in a way that leverages your time. So when you grow at scale, you have less complexity, you have more profitability, and your life actually gets easier, not harder, and you have more time, not less. And what we see, James, is there are really 3 key components to growing at scale. The first one is consistent lead flow. James, you want to address that, because there's a difference between having a lot of lead flow and having the consistent lead flow that you need to scale.
Yeah, guys, to grow at scale, is we have to have the consistency of lead flow. It has to come in daily, it has to be consistent, right? But those leads have to also be qualified leads. Because if we're spending our time with the quote unquote tire kickers, okay, we're spending our time with people who are asking questions for services that we don't provide or that we don't want to provide anymore, that's a big deal. Those clients, those prospects, the leads also, they have to be motivated. There has to be some sort of motivating factor there. They can't just be looky-loos looking for free information. And they also have to be committed. They have to be committed to their outcome. If we can have leads that are qualified, that are motivated, and that are committed to their outcome, then we have the ability to scale. If we don't, if we have prospects who are just looking for a commodity or just looking for free education or even services that you don't even provide, then a lot of time is wasted. It's impossible to grow at scale without good, consistent lead flow.
And I don't want to overlook that word consistent, because it's not okay. You can't grow at scale if you only have occasional leads, or if all of your leads come in a big bunch and then you have this big, long, dry spell afterward. The second big thing that's important here is you have to have a fee structure that can support your revenue goal at scale. And that really comes down to premium fees. And James, you work with our clients on this every day. You want to talk a little bit about the importance of premium fees?
Yes, guys, if we're trying to grow at scale, you're trying to reach success in your firm, and that success has something to do with a revenue number, then we have to be able to charge premium fees. And we can't base our fees on what we think the market will bear, what the average fee is in our community, and then say, well, I have to be competitive, so I'm gonna base my fee on that. It can't be based on the amount of time it takes you to prepare the documents. An hourly rate in estate planning It makes no sense to me. So the better that you get at your job, the less money you make. So we can't base it on our time either. And we can't base it on just the simple complexity of the plan. This is more liability for me. This is going to take me longer, whatever that might be. We can't base it on that either. Guys, so our premium fees, go ahead, Jennifer.
I was just going to ask if we're not based on what the market will bear or time or complexity, what do we base it on?
Yeah, well, the fee is going to be based on value and value alone. And guys, and gals, the person that has to have that, to see that value and build that value is the prospect. Okay. So your job in commanding premium fees is to find the value, to build the value. It is not to sell a document. Okay. So premium fees do not relate to selling a sack of paper. Okay. You are not FedEx Kinko's. All right. If you are, then yeah, that's going to be very inexpensive, or at least it should be. Okay. So your premium fees have to be based on something deeper than that. It's going to be the value that your prospects find, that you uncover for them and with them.
So we know that to scale up, we have to have a consistent lead flow of committed, qualified, motivated clients. We know that we have to be able to set our fees at a premium level so that we can reach our revenue goals. And then the third piece of that puzzle is we got to be able to close new leads. And that is really what you coach our clients on, James.
Right. I hear from folks who have been doing estate planning for a number of years, and they'll say, well, my closing ratio is 100%. I close every person that comes in. Okay, well, who comes in? Well, all my business comes from referrals. Well, okay, sure. I would hope that is 100% closing rate when they come from a referral. Someone says, hey, go meet with James. He's great. This is what he charges. You have to do this to finish your financial plan that I've put together for you. Go see him on Tuesday. You can basically say anything and just don't act ridiculous, and you'll close that deal, right? But if they come through from any other sort of method, any other sort of system, you write those people off as bad leads. They're uneducated. They're just shoppers. They're just looky-loos, they're tire kickers, right? We'll write those people off and say only the good clients. I close all the good clients, the ones that come from referrals, the ones that are easy to close, right? So we have to put the same amount of work into our sales process that we put into our estate planning process. Both are equally important to the success of your law firm. And it's too bad that so many attorneys rely only on one skill set to grow.
So the three things that are vital to growing your practice at scale are a consistent lead flow, being able to command premium fees, and then being able to close a high ratio of the people that you meet when you have consistent lead flow, not just when you have a referral, not just when they're the perfect match, but when you have that consistent lead flow that you can close at a high rate at a premium fee. So let's move on. Oh, go ahead.
I want to stack on that just a second, Jennifer, because
Sure.
Another thing that happens when we're not at a 10 on our ability to close on our sales process is we end up having a lot of extra meetings as well. So we have multiple meetings with people. And when we have multiple meetings with people, that takes away from new people that we could meet with. That takes away from our time, takes away from our lifestyle, our ability. It's not a sustainable thing to grow at scale when your sales process includes 3 or 4 or even 5 meetings. We have to be able to wrap that up in 1, 2 if we have to.
It's such a good point, James. I hear it from clients all the time that I couldn't possibly take in any more business because I couldn't deliver on it. And when you probe and ask them the next question, why is that? Well, every single client has a screening meeting, an initial consultation, a design meeting, a signing meeting, and then we have a follow-up meeting on the so every single client is taking 5 meetings with the attorney. And that's oftentimes when I hear an attorney say, I couldn't take on any more business, they're telling the truth. They need a lot more business to hit their revenue goals, but they can't get there with the systems and the processes that they have in place. Which leads me to the topic of our podcast today, which is the most common mistakes that lawyers make in estate planning and elder law that prevent them from growing at scale. And the first one is commoditized marketing. So it begins right there with your first marketing messages, whether that's your website or your email. First marketing messages focus on what, James?
Features and benefits.
Features and benefits. So tell me, what features and benefits do most law firms talk about?
Right. If we were to kind of rattle them off, they would say things like, well, our firm has years of experience. So that's a feature, right? And the benefit is you can trust us to do a good job. We sell wills, and that's a feature. And then the benefit of a will is an orderly distribution of assets upon death. Or we sell trusts, and the benefit of a trust is it avoids probate, okay? Or we offer a comprehensive plan, okay? So it's kind of bundled together for a little bit of savings. These are the things that, yeah, go ahead, Jennifer.
What happens when your marketing focuses on these features and benefits or these documents? You start looking like everybody else. Right?
Yeah. So if we were to, yeah, exactly. So if I were to take a poll and say, everybody raise your hand if these features and benefits are true of you, I would hope that everybody would raise their hand. Okay. But if these are the things that you're focusing on in your marketing messages, you're making it extraordinarily difficult for anybody to make a decision, a choice between you or somebody else. The only rational choice they can possibly make is who sells the cheaper plan. All things are equal. They all have the same features. They all have the same benefits. They all have years of experience. Who's cheaper? That's the only way they can determine. And the attorneys set it up that way. The attorneys make that possible with what they say and do in their marketing.
And still on that same theme of marketing mistakes, it's another common one is focusing their marketing on Google search. How many people, James, on average, I mean, I'm not looking for the number, but how many people are actually going online and searching for an estate planning attorney or searching for a will or a trust?
Yeah, not very many. So we did a survey, I think it was a couple months ago. We pulled some numbers for the Denver metro area out here in Colorado to see how many searches were done in a 30-day period for the terms estate planning or wills and trusts. And there were 30 in a month, 30 in all of Denver, okay? Now, those folks looking, they probably hired somebody, okay? But unless you get all 30 of those people, that's not a strategy you can rely on to grow at scale, okay? And odds are you're not gonna get all 30 of those people, okay? You still wanna be on Google, right? You still wanna have a Google rank, right? But that can't be where you think your gold mine is for scaling your practice.
So if just a teeny tiny percentage of people are actually searching online for an estate planning attorney, where we find the bulk of the people, the most of the people that you would want to talk to about estate planning, since virtually everyone needs an estate plan, is on social media. But that leads me to the third most common mistake that attorneys make, which is to avoid social media like the plague. So James, talk a little bit about what we see when we are able to find attorneys who can shift their mindset around and embrace social media.
Yeah, it all comes back to the intention and mindset of the attorney, okay? If the intention and the mindset of the attorney is to sell documents, then they're gonna have the same result on social media as they would on Google. Okay, because there's just not enough people looking for documents. So messages about wills and trusts don't resonate with enough people. Again, there's only 30 people in all of Denver in a given month that message would resonate with, where they're actually looking for a document like that. So if we can change our intention to serve people, to understand people, to remember that our job is to help them out of something bad and into something way better, okay? Once we understand what those things are and we enter into the social media realm, we're golden. We can be in front of who we want to be in front of with the messages that we know are going to resonate with them. And the people that desperately need the help and that are the people that are qualified, that are motivated, and that are committed, they will consistently book with you. You will give them every reason to want to work with you and have you solve X, Y, or Z problems to achieve A, B, or C outcome. Okay? They will choose you because you'll be the only person in their community, in their sphere, who is actually taking the time to understand them and not just try to sell them a document. This is why social media is so powerful. Where Google, we have to rely on people actively looking for us. We have to rely on those 30 people who are looking for those terms. Otherwise, no one's going to see us. But on social media, we can say, you know what? I think James has this problem. I think he's worried about his grandmother, and what she's going through, right? Then we can put that message right in front of James, and we can help James take care of that problem and serve him. And so that's where social media is the gold mine for every attorney out there, so especially since your peers are not using it at all.
And one of the ironies of this is attorneys focus on Google search and avoid social media. What they don't understand is that having great visibility in social media will drive more traffic to the website than Google search could ever do. And we see that in the numbers every single day. When we're tracking those numbers, we see social media being the top referrer to the website. So if you want your website to have visibility, focus less on Google search and more on social media. Then I come to the fourth big mistake that I see, and it comes from this idea that internet leads are no good. And when we really look deeper, we see that the internet leads are highly motivated. They did the search themselves. They came to you on their own, that they are pre-qualified, but there's a missing link here, and it's an outdated sales process. Now, James, you do sales coaching every day with our clients. I want you to kind of let people know, what are the big red flags that your sales process might be outdated?
Yeah. So guys, with today's environment, the things that are the true tells whether your sales process is outdated or not is if your sales process is, one, focused on education, okay? Two, leads to think it over. People at the end of their meetings, they have to think it over, okay? Or three, people are really focused on the price. They're very price sensitive when it comes to your sales process. If you're
so you're telling me that if people are price sensitive, it has to do with your sales process and not your leads?
Yeah, exactly. Very, very, very astute there, Jennifer. Okay. If you're doing these three things, you're probably having frustrations with your sales process. Okay. Let's talk about the focus on education one. Okay. I think this really stems from the good old boys club back in the 90s when there was no internet, and the way to understand anything about estate planning, you had to go to an estate planning attorney at a live seminar and hear them talk about it. And so the phrases that sound really cool but bear no meaning anymore, educate to motivate, the thought was, if we can just educate these people, that will motivate them to take action. It's just not true. Here's why, okay? When we go into education mode, especially in our sales process, we deliver a number of messages. Not only are we delivering the message of here's the education, but the underlying message is this is vastly important to the decisions that you're going to make. You better get all of this. If it wasn't important, I wouldn't be telling you all of these details. So hopefully you're picking every bit of this up. At least that's what the prospect is hearing when you're delivering this education. So if at any point during the conversation, they get confused, they drift away, they think about something else for a moment and miss something that you said, or something doesn't compute, or they feel a little bit overwhelmed during that conversation, they will think, oh shoot, I don't have enough education to make a decision. I need to think it over, talk with somebody else, talk to my cousin, talk to my doctor, talk to my financial advisor, whoever it might be. Education is what's going to lead to think it over. Education also always focuses on the external document, this thing, this stack of paper. We're talking about some sort of commodity. So once people know what commodity that they need, what's to stop them from thinking, I wonder if I can save $1,000, or if I can save $50 even if I call somebody else. Now that I know I just need one of these trust things or one of these will things. Okay, that outdated sales process will prevent you from scaling. And a lot of attorneys feel it right now, the frustration of the think it over and the price comparison and the multiple meetings.
I think the biggest thing that I hear is my internet leads all suck. They are all just tire kickers. They're all price sensitive. And just a few more probing questions, and you find out that they haven't updated their sales process in the past 20 years. That there's either they have zero sales training and they're just winging it, or they're following a sales process that is severely outdated and doesn't meet the needs of today's consumer.
Yeah, I'll stack on that. One of my favorites, Jennifer, is when I hear the attorney complain that their internet leads are uneducated. And I just laugh. I seriously, I say, well, what do you expect? You know, the people that know everything about estate planning, the attorneys like you, they do their own estate plans. Everybody else needs to hire somebody, okay, to do their estate plan. So they're going to be uneducated by default. That's their default position. So you should expect every one of your leads to be somewhat uneducated when it comes to this process. And that's okay. That's the reason that they need you. If they were fully educated, they would be an attorney and draft their own plan.
Right.
So
they just need to be able to make a decision.
Exactly.
And it's your job to take them to the correct decision. Now, here's what I see. Because of these 4 mistakes: commoditized marketing, focusing on Google rank, avoiding social media like the plague, and then this outdated sales process, a lot of attorneys have sort of given up on the idea that they could have a 7-figure law firm and they could have it with ease. And so what I see as the 5th biggest mistake is this mindset that growing has to be extremely painful. We have to hire a lot of people. We have to, negotiate new leases on more office space. We've got to blow up our overhead. And so growing is painful and expensive. And so I see so many, in fact, I would see too many lawyers who've just decided, I'm going to stay small. I'm going to be content. I'm going to settle because they've made all of these other mistakes. Growing would be painful under those circumstances, and it would be expensive. So, James, when you talk to people, and I know you're talking to 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 people every day, new attorneys, do you see that mindset that maybe growing to 7 figures is kind of a ridiculous idea?
Way too often. I really do. But it's okay. I think that's part of what needs to be kind of broken. You have to get to that point where you say, this is how I see the world, and I don't want to see it that way any longer, right? But yeah, a lot of times it would be too risky to try to grow. And I want to say it's the least risky thing to start really focusing on growing at scale, because it's what gives you the freedom, and it's changes that can be made right now, but it does require change. Growing it's not going to take that much pressure. We overthink the amount of pressure that's going to be there when we start to commit to what the goals we actually have, the success we want. The risk of failure is maybe too high, but it's not. It's not you're in the failure right now, right? If you're not taking the risk. So just recognize that there's something better on the other side. It doesn't have to be painful.
I think the main thing is to give up the mistakes instead of giving up the goal. Stay focused on the goal, but be willing to change how you might get there if what you're doing isn't working. And the thing is, the goal is so important, because when you get it right, it looks completely different. Your lifestyle scales up as well as your practice. You work with clients who you love and who love you. You get paid well, and you have time to enjoy that wealth. You know, the big irony and big sad thing is that estate planning attorneys work with clients every single day to protect generational wealth so that their clients' legacy goes on beyond them, beyond even their children, on to grandchildren and great-grandchildren. But too many estate planning attorneys have given up on that dream for themselves. And they don't have to. They absolutely don't have to. You know what, guys? It all starts with you.
Yeah,
James?
guys, yeah, so your intention and your commitment to your outcome, these are the things that are going to drive you to the success that you have. Staying committed and doing the work is paramount, but you won't do the work. You won't stay committed if your mindset's not in it. So it really starts with you and how you serve your clients, how you find value with your prospects, and how you reach your goals through service, through serving others. And you keep your intention on that, and it flows into your marketing, Jennifer, correct? That's kind of the next thing, is to have that intention kind of flow into what you do.
Absolutely. So now when it starts with you with that intention and that goal, your marketing isn't focused on commodities. It isn't focused on documents. It's really anticipating your prospects' problems. It's talking about the desired outcomes, what they're going to get, how things are going to be different. It's really giving clarity about how we solve these problems. These marketing messages are ones that resonate with people. And then when you can get leverage in your marketing, when your marketing is delivered around the clock to the right audiences with the right messages, you see completely different type of lead flow in your practice. And that allows you then to start getting really good with your sales process.
Mhm.
We call it mastering the art of high ticket sales.
Guys, it really comes down to developing the mindset and the skill set that sets you apart from everyone else. Okay, so committing that there's going to be no more education, no more what I call unpaid consulting. Instead, you're going to make every opportunity count and serve prospects to the truth about their current situation. I can't stress that enough. And when we're talking about high ticket sales, again, going back to the value, okay? The value that has to be there, the prospect has to see the value. They have to be the ones that are engaged with the process. They have to know that you know, okay, where their real pressure points are, where it really hurts, what success really looks like for them. When you get to that point with your prospects, you will have built tremendous value. And mastering that art of high ticket sales, it does take work. It is a skill set, just like Derek Jeter going to baseball practice. You know, Derek Jeter played for the Yankees. I'm not a Yankees fan, but you know, the guy was the first person at batting practice, and he was the last person to leave. And he was the greatest hitter maybe of all time. But why did he practice so much? Because there's always room for improvement, always sharpening the sword. And so we have to put as much effort into our sales process that we put into our estate planning process. But it has to be with that right intention of service and getting to the truth, and not just trying to sell somebody something.
So you guys, at the end of the day, the very first step is to make that commitment, to not let go of that goal, to commit to it like you would anything else in your life. That outcome being absolutely essential. Decide what you want. And if you're committed, then we've got an offer for you. James?
Yeah, guys, we help so many attorneys grow at scale. But these attorneys, they have to be committed. They have to be motivated. They have to be able to empty their cup and take coaching and apply it. So what I have for you, if you are committed to the success of your law firm, book a call with me. We'll just get clarity on what it is you want to accomplish, what you've been up to this point, what you've been through, why it's important for you to get to that outcome. And if we can help you, I'm confident that we can help you in that process. They'll talk to you about how we might do that. But you can go to www.integritymarketing.com/apply and book a call. 30, 45 minutes, we'll have everything we need. And look forward to seeing you there. Thanks a lot, Jennifer, for this today. I appreciate it.
Thanks, James.